This is Chris Bowen Vibes for the Raised Fist Podcast.
Chris Bowen Vibes.
My brother.
Straight from Arizona.
Yes, sir.
Let's drink some symbolic green tea right here. All right, you're feeling brand new. What's that song about, and what is your goal right now?
Oh, man, so brand new. That song actually came together kind of on a whim, man. I was in the back room jamming out, started coming up with a chord progression, and then the words just started kind of coming through. And my wife from the kitchen actually shouted out, F yeah, keep that going, whatever that was. So I just went ahead and just kept going, man. And heck, within like 2 hours, that song was written. And I really think that was just like a universal from the soul in the moment type of deal, like it was meant to be type of concept.
That's pretty cool. So you never really played shows or sang before that?
No, I didn't. I actually just started writing music about 2 years ago, kind of when pandemic hit and stuff. You know, it was one of those things where I had never really thought about it a whole much, more so to the fact of I didn't think I would have what it took back in the day. You know what I mean? So I just kind of let it be. And then my wife is, to bring her up again, is one of the biggest contributors in all of this, right? So I've known my wife for 10 years now. And for the last 10 years, all she's done is tell me, hey, you need to sing for people. Why aren't you singing for people? Now we got 2 kids that are 11 and 9. Kind of looking and thinking about my life and what type of example I want to be. You know what I mean? I'm going to be more so go after your dreams, go after your aspirations in life. You can make money doing anything, you know what I mean? So really to be that example, the best way I could do that is just do it myself, man. So I kind of jumped into it and just decided to try to start writing songs and took it from there.
Relationships where sometimes the relationship kind of brings you down in your art form. I've noticed in the short time we've been friends and doing things that I've met you and your wife, and it's like a dynamic duo. So how does that kind of play a part in your career?
That's 100%. I mean, like I said, it's purely the support from my wife that got me into this in the first place. You know what I mean? So the partnership and the excitement that she gives me from the backside is... number one, it pushes me to go. But number two, gives me the ability to be comfortable in being able to just say, yeah, Jeff, I'll fly out to New York. My wife's super cool with it. You know what I mean? And just gives that whole freedom to be able to follow what universe is putting in front of us in the proper ways. And a lot of it has to do with our relationship, right? You know, and the building that we've done over the years and the partnership that we've had. You know, she's my perfect balance in it all, you know, so I lucked out. I'm one of the lucky guys that found his, you know, soulmate, you know, quote unquote. Just one of those things that I feel completely blessed in, to be able to have that type of support from my wife. I don't know any different. I hear stories, right, but I don't know the other side of it. Like, my kids are stoked, you know, everybody's excited for it all. It's just super cool for me.
One thing I've noticed, we talked about energy, right? And people have different like marketing ways, whether you're a photographer or a musician. Oh, if I post this at this certain time, if I get enough likes, if I get enough follows. We're talking to you, it's more about the universe and where the energy is taking you. I want to know about that.
The universe is kind of leading me where I need to go. All I have to do is listen properly. Okay, so with this whole journey, I am looking at what everybody else is doing because I want to be able to at least be doing at somewhat of what everybody likes out there. You know what I mean? But the trueness in it all is for me universally fed versus trying to mimic or sound like or anything else. Like, my biggest thing is I want to be me authentically and thoroughly, right? To where everybody can see who I am no matter what's going on. 100% transparency. You know who I am from the start, and you feel who I am from the start, right? I think that's kind of the difference in the society shift that we got right now, to where you got, you know, people that are scared to show their true selves to everybody. And I think that brings us down as a society, right? Because we don't know who the fuck is real, you know? And for me, I've kind of flip-flopped that whole thing in my life. And I don't want anybody to think something of me just because of the way I'm perceiving myself. No, know me for who I am. Know me for the energy that I bring to the table. And that it's a whole different dynamic there. It's true, it's genuine, and it's real. And you can't deny that. You can't change that stuff. You know what I mean? Like our connection, bro. From the moment we met, the energies have been just on point. We have the same types of values, the same types of concerns, and the same types of futuristic views that we want to put across. You know, spread this shit as far as we can. It's all about the positivity and the love. Stop the negativity, stop the hate, stop all of it. Let's all just kind of revamp and revise how we're thinking about all these situations, you know?
It's pretty much like how punk rock started, where it was like anti-hate, in the 80s, anti-corporate, anti-putting each other down. And it's very interesting to see, you have a scene that it's based on the three words, right? The peace, love, and unity. So sometimes you just got to observe, like, who is showing that.
I never speak for anybody else and I mean, even when I'm just looking around and kind of observing, I don't know anybody well enough to really call them on what direction or what their true self is. So I'm more the guy, when I meet you, I'll feel you. You know what I mean? To where you can talk about anybody any which way you want towards me, which is awesome. You know, I don't mind hearing about anybody. But at the same time, I'm not going to really go off of what anybody says until I'm in front of that person and I'm talking to them and I'm feeling their energies and they're feeling mine, because that's the trueness in it. At that point, you can really tell if somebody's real or fake or whatever's kind of going on, you know.
Shout out to Gary Dredd, by the way.
Gary Dredd, my man.
You met him yesterday physically for the first time. How was that vibe, interaction?
Gary Dredd, man, he is a force, my man. He's a light in this thing. You know what I mean? To see what he's doing, with the movement, number one, and then his other two gigs, doing his own thing, and then the Rockers, it's awesome to see that type of drive. Even him being this late in the game, had been in it for 15, 20 years, doing it still, just touring like crazy, and still has the drive to have 3 projects going on. It's just super inspirational for me. You know what I mean? Be able to meet him, link up. Hopefully we get to do a track together. You know what I mean? And kind of rock and roll with that friendship. Super cool.
What are your plans for the future? 3 to 5 year plan?
It's funny because I got goals, but I don't have goals, right? So this whole thing came off of, just a little idea and a push from my wife, and now it's turned into this whole different thing. So as far as goals go, my biggest goal is to grow and connect with as many people as I can, right? Whether it's in the industry or the fan base, right? Because the main purpose in my journey is to spread the knowledge of what I have in my life and my experiences, spread the love and positivity, and spread the Chris Bowen vibes. You know what I mean? So to grow that any way possible, I would love to see myself doing festivals and stuff. I mean, we just got a band put together for me out here. Shout out to my man Ray Mazza, George, Brandon. I mean, I had a whole band last night for our show, and it's just awesome progress coming quick. You know what I mean?
What's the difference in dynamic between you playing solo, acoustic, and having a band behind you?
So I haven't played a whole bunch live. So right now for me, the difference dynamically is I have more freedom when I have a band. Right? I don't have to think about the guitar and my voice and all of these parts being perfect all the time, because I can just let go of the guitar. They got me, and I can just belt out some words. I can really get into the music and feel it, and that's what it's all about for me is that, again, with the energies, the transfers of energies, man. It's like we're on stage to be able to transfer our killer energy out to the crowd, and hopefully they feel it,
Are you trying to do anything with your message?
I don't know that I'm trying to do anything. Universe might be trying to do something. You know what I mean? I think we're at a time and age where we all kind of need to do some different types of thinking, whatever that looks like. Like, perceptions are a bitch. You know what I mean? We can get stuck in these different perceptions of things, and I think we're just in this revolutionary time where where we have the reals and we have the fake people and all this craziness. It's just kind of jumbled up and all over the place. And for me, I I don't know. I feel like I kind of get the words from what universe is telling me that kind of need to be brought out to light, and it's interesting because so I did a songwriting class when I started trying to write music 2 years ago, right? I'm like, I might as well try to figure something out. And they talked about music as almost a muse, to where you feed into the muse and the muse feeds back. So it's a give and take and the collectiveness of everybody in a creative realm, right? Whether it be film, whether it be music, or any type of creative outlet, right? Art, anything. It's a part of this universal muse. So the more we feed into them, the more we honor it, and the more we do these things, the more it gives back and kind of gives us these words. I mean, I used to hear songwriters talk all the time. I don't know where it came from. It just came to me, and Brand New just came to me, bro. So it's like now I'm starting to understand like a little bit of a dynamic of trust in the universe into what is actually happening, and then just linking up with everybody that he's putting or it's putting in my life, you know what I mean? To just keep this thing steady going, wherever it takes us, bro. I will tell you there is no limit to this thing. I don't put boundaries on anything. And that's one of the main things that I will hold true to, is make sure that there's never something that holds me back from anything else. You know what I mean?
There's that phrase, trust the process.
100%.
I do that with filming. Like sometimes I'll do a high profile gig, like really large, in the thousands, right? And these protocols really annoy the shit out of me. It's like, send a storyboard, send a treatment, and any manager that has dealt with me gets an email, is like, what do you mean treatment or storyboard? Like, I'll show up and I'll film.
Right.
And then two or three of the managers that are professional are like, listen, just do this. This is what the artist wants to see, that you're actually. So, I write something out. I don't follow any of it. Even with our video, it's like, just meet here. Meet on the pier,
Right.
and we'll see where the vibe goes. And we did like 5 different takes, and I think the take that we used was, the majority of it was you walking on the Ocean Beach Pier.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut that with the Central Park scene where a Buddhist monk came out of nowhere.
Yeah, bro. It was epic.
And that's trusting the process.
That's what I mean. And that's where I'm talking about universe, right? So we weren't going to come out here and finish that video, remember? We were just going to chalk it up, and then all of a sudden we had the boat cruise kind of thing lined up, and I ended up talking to you, and you're like, you know what, let's come out here and let's do the other half, And so those are those little, I guess, pings from the universe that I'll take into consideration. And I'll really mull it over, and I'll sit and talk to my partner, my wife, and see how things are going and how she feels about it, because she balances me out. So obviously I need that other half to talk about it, to kind of process it all through. But it all lines out perfect because she's in that same energy as me, and we're looking for the same universal signs and stuff. And it points us out here. So we come out here, and then all of a sudden we're singing a song about being brand new, and there's one monk in Central Park just chilling, doing his own thing, and he helps us out, you know what I mean, and decides to jump in the video with us. It was so cool, bro.
It's like the yin and the yang, right? So people often think when they're receiving good, the rest of their lives are going to be good. Mm-hmm. What I've noticed is when I get a lot of good, the bad always shows up, and it's a matter of how I react to the bad. Am I going to get sucked into the bad? Because that's going to take away from the good. Or am I going to ignore the bad? Or am I going to deal with the bad in the best way possible? And I think that's what the ancients were saying when it comes to good and evil, black and white, yin and the yang. It's like, for example, we're doing this podcast right now. Oh, today was a good day. We did a podcast. We did this. Who says when we go to the airport something bad's not going to happen? How are we going to react to that?
So I'm going to throw it to you in a different realm, okay? And instead of saying good and bad, just is. So us as humans create good and bad. I know it sounds crazy and far-fetched. It's kind of out there because you got some crazy shit that's bad that happens in the world. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. But it all just is. Us as humans make those emotions. We make them bad and we make them good. To the extremes we make them, right? So if I think something's really bad, that's me making it really bad. And then I keep making it worse and worse and worse in my head. And I'm in this whole like entrapment type of thing. I think that's more the kicker, is the balance of being able to keep your mind on it. It's okay. Even though shit's happening, it's going to be okay. Something else is going to happen tomorrow that could be better than this or something like that. You know what I mean? So more so to level the playing field. See what I'm saying? I absolutely love all of the great times, right? And I don't like the bad times. But on the other side of it, when I'm in the bad times, nowadays I'm looking for the lessons. Okay, so all the lessons in my life I've learned through shitty times, through heartache, through troubles, through trials, right? So when I'm in those spots in life or days or whatever, if I can take my perception and flip it into, what am I trying to learn? What's universe trying to teach me right now? Whether it's just patience or get through a hard time or lean on a friend or whatever, that's something else other than just focusing on the shit. You know what I mean? And it just kind of helps the process.
And it's funny because I notice some people just focus on that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is bad, so let me dwell on it every day. Let me post about it.
So it's still energy, bro. So energy still feeds, right? Whether it's good energy, bad energy, innate energy, it doesn't matter. It all still feeds something, right? So if a person has essentially trained their mind or adapted their mind to feel good in bad shit, they'll stay in that bad shit. I used to do that shit, you know. I mean, there's been a lot of transformation in my own life through all of this, right? I didn't just wake up this guy. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of deep work internally and spiritually to make sure that I can see these things in a different light, right? To where I'm constantly aware of what's going on with myself. So if I'm in a situation and I start feeling a little upset towards somebody or whatever, I gotta take a step back and say, okay, what's going on with me? Because it just is, right? If I keep it there, that it kind of helps me process it better and get through that scenario with ease and dignity versus bullshit, right?
That's a good way of taking it. So learn from every situation.
I'm learning from everything in this world, bro. Good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter. Look out the window, I'll learn something. Why? It's because why not? Like for me, I feel like the purpose for us on this earth, in this spacesuit of a body we got, is to learn about who we are, what we are, why we are, and learn where we're at in this realm of things. What's our true purpose? Not our what are we gonna do to make money bullshit purpose. That's not a purpose, bro. That's a man-made philosophy of you have to make money. That's a man god. You know what I mean? My purpose is way deeper than that. My purpose is the words. My purpose is the energies. It's the connections. You know what I mean? So with all that and trying to stay in tune with I can as much with the universe, I don't see it going any other way. You know what I mean? I'm also my biggest critic. So even though my wife can tell me I'm a great father, I will find shit every day to tell myself I'm a bad father. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not saying I'm a bad father in the realm of I'm a stick in the shit. It's what can I do to improve myself to be a better fucking father, right? So when I'm constantly in this striving to become a better person, number one, I don't have time for the bullshit. And number two, I constantly get better without really noticing it. Right? So that's kind of my philosophy on it. So 80 years from now, I'll still be learning from the trees and the ocean and all of these things. You know, if I think I know it all, then I'm done for. You know what I mean? I truly believe all of the journey in life is about learning, and it's not specific. It's not book knowledge. It ain't street knowledge. It's all of it. You know what I mean? It's because there's stuff that we don't even tap into anymore as people. Like ancient people used to tap into all kinds of crazy powers and magic and stuff, and it's kind of been lost. The cool thing about now is I feel like we're in a revolution of that change to where people are shifting and saying, hey, wait, this magic is actually here. Let's talk about it and let's see what's going on with it, you know, which is cool. That's where I come in.
You talk a lot about balance. So I feel that if someone is balanced with their spirit or their soul, or balanced even with their emotions, my opinion is that you can only go up from that. Because if you don't have a balance with your emotions and you're constantly up and down, right? Happy one day, screaming at someone the next, the road might be a little tough for you.
100%. The biggest thing in my life is balance, right? Now, throughout it all, trying to keep that nice evenness with my emotions is the biggest thing. Because that's where, if I look back on the hard times of my life and the messed up times, it's really my emotions were not where they should have been. So I was the type of kid that everything turned into anger, right? I was scared, I was angry, I was nervous, I was angry. Like it was just a thing. So there was a lot of work to kind of reverse that. So the balance in all that is more so figuring out the emotional part. And I think that the trick is everybody thinks they can just think their ways into a different way of thinking, right? So it's like, God, I don't want to think this way anymore. So I'm just how am I gonna figure this out to not think the way I do anymore? And I cannot be angry anymore, and I cannot do this. And we try to figure it out up here when that's not where it's at. The work has to be done in here. And it all starts from somewhere, right? But my brain and my soul have to connect, because my brain's kind of telling my body what to do, but my soul is telling my essence what to do if I listen, right? So I don't believe my brain's in control anymore. I believe my soul is now in control. And it kind of took me from a journey of like only thinking in my head to only, I'm kind of in the middle now, to where I'll analyze stuff like crazy in my brain, but then I want to make sure that my soul's feeding into it as well. I'm an artist because at this point I feel like universe wants me to be. That's why. I never imagined that I would be doing any of this, to the T where I was scared shitless to do any of this. Like, people are going to make fun of me. There's no way I'm going to be able to. I can't pull it off. I'm 38, just trying to get into a music industry that I really don't know a whole bunch about. I was raised around music, but I didn't really partake because I had a couple bad experiences that I kept with me for a long time. So it's all kind of a dream world right now, to where I know I'm living it and I know it's going on. And I know it's only going in a good direction. I don't know what that looks like though. So for me, I guess anytime I can't see further out, I come back in and make sure that the foundation is where it's supposed to be. Because if my foundation is always where I'm talking about the balance and talking about the love and positive sides of things and the connectiveness of our souls and the energies and all this stuff, that plan will start revealing itself a little bit more, right? So every few weeks, I'm starting to see more of this picture kind of unfold for me, I mean, I came out in the summertime, didn't have a band at all, right? Here we are 3 months later, and I got a full band in New York. I'm starting to get guys in AZ on board to, get the full band going. So like right now, sky's the limit, bro. What creator and universe want, you know what I mean? And it's weird to say it like that because I know I'm writing it. But in the same side of things, I didn't know I could ever write a song. So I'm just kind of sitting with a pen and paper and a guitar and asking the universe to tell me shit, like straight up, and then it comes. Then I write it down and it sounds cool. And then I send it to my guys, it sounds better. This is one of those things, like my first song I released. I've never wrote songs other than everything that's out so far, right? So I've written 8 songs in the last 2 years. It's my EP. We're starting it out. We're going to get it all finished up next year. Start working on the next album, and just kind of see what happens. Keep spreading the word. Biggest thing with me is connections, being able to meet people and spread the actual energy. We were talking a little bit about text messages and online stuff, and it kind of loses all of the energy transfer with people. And I think that's kind of what we're missing in the society, is that actual energy transfer. I'll tell you, most people won't talk shit right in front of somebody else's face, but they'll do it on a laptop because they don't feel that energy. You know what I mean? So it's the same way with the love. So if we want to spread the love energy, I can't just type a hey, what's up? Yeah, it helps, because I will tell you, positive and love energy will push through much harder than anything else. Right. But it still has to be spread through that actual connection, because that's what we are. We're energy beings. We're not a computer. You know what I mean? So we have to have that type of ebb and flow with people.
Last question. So obviously you're at the beginning of your career. Yeah. You have a lot of positive things to say. You're excited. Absolutely. All right. How do you keep that balance of being at the top of your game without losing things like family or yourself?
So I'll tell you this. I feel like I'm doing more now than if I was able to get paid for this, because I'm working a full-time job with a family and writing music in my closet, essentially, and then trying to get it all together for everybody else. When balance is my number one focus, it'll get figured out. That's really the answer. So if universe says it's meant to be, if it becomes a thing that's meant to be, then it will fall into place like that. And the balance will end up there. Now, it will take some work on my part, because it doesn't just get handed to us. I'll have to figure out definitely how to schedule myself better, how to, well, let me tell you this. So before I flew out to New York, I flew the kids and my wife, we went to Disneyland, right? Perfect example of balance, right? So those are the types of things that I would think could be those types of concepts where I'm just making sure that the essence is there, making sure they understand that that's the true heart of it all. You know what I mean? And as long as they understand that it's still the heart, and I keep it the heart, right? Then I don't see a problem with it. I see plenty of other people doing it. I see people that aren't, but I see people that are.
It's interesting. It's almost like you're saying universe, the guide, and you can use every single religion out there. I won't even mention any specific religion, but every religion says trust, right? Trust in this God. If you trust in the God will help you. Same thing with universe. If you just let yourself go, follow the path without any hesitation, I agree with you. I feel like you will get there. It's manifestation, pretty much.
The God aspect, right? So in my eyes, we talk about universe and God and these things. I view it, I'm going to pull a Bible verse, and we were created in God's image, okay? So if that's the case, and I can use my kids for this example, my kids are a piece of me. They're created in my image, and they have my DNA in them, so they have a piece of me in them. So if God created me, or universe created me, and it has this ultimate power, shouldn't I have a piece of that inside of me? That's where manifestation comes in. That's where that's where I'm talking about connecting your brain to your heart and your soul, because there is so much power within us all. I feel we have a part of God in us. Why not? Well, I'm connected to the ocean. I'm connected to the trees. I'm connected to you. I'm connected to this wood. You know what I mean? So with all of that, I can find some power. You know what I mean? And I can reach deep, and I can find these things without just trusting, but feeling that shit. You know what I mean? The energy behind it. So it's not that I just trust the universe. No, I feel the universe telling me what to do a lot of the time, you know? And there's sometimes I'm wrong where I think the universe is telling me that I feel something and I'll pull one way and it's way the fuck wrong. But for the most part, I've learned. It's been a lot of work at trying to internally hear myself and see what's going on in there. Who really am I? And then from there, what do I do with it? All right.
And to that, we toast.
Much love, my brother.
Much love. Much success, my friends.